Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Alissa. This quarter, we'll be shifting our focus to a new topic, health and wealth. So let's start with the basics. What is health?
I was asked, what that definition is, and a lot of times, I feel good, right? The absence of, signs or symptoms, the absence of pain, the absence or just, feeling good. That's really the definition of a sick care system. I always use one word answer to define health and well-being. It really comes down to adaptation. Okay, if your body has the ability to adapt, then you are a healthy individual. You go outside on a hot summer day, you have to start sweating to keep your body at a good, healthy temperature. Go outside on a very cold day, you have to start shivering to keep your body temperature up. Those are two very simple examples, but we have hundreds of millions of those biochemical adaptations happening internally. So those people that have the ability to adapt to an internal and external environment are the healthiest individuals. A lot of people would say, well, someone who is vomiting, well, that's a sick individual. But no, that's a healthy, normal adaptation. If you're exposed to a stomach virus, your body is trying to expel that virus. And so that sign or a symptom is actually a healthy adaptation. It's a healthy response to dealing with an external environmental factor. So I think that, changing the idea of how we view health is what is really going to help us, change, the system of healthcare.
So you mentioned something interesting that, like when you were talking about the virus, us not really being sick, right? But that's just our body's way of expelling the virus. So are we designed for health or illness?
Well, what is the difference of being healthy or being sick? And I feel in the majority of examples that I see come into my office, a lot of times someone who's kind of stuck in this. They have this symptom going on. Let's use acid reflux for an example. If you believe that is an illness, okay, and that person is suffering with that illness, well, if we give them some medication to stop the burning sensation, stop the reflux, well, in the sick care paradigm, we would say, well, we've effectively treated that illness. The problem is when you take that medication and start to dampen the body's normal, healthy response of creating stomach acid. We have to understand, well, why is the stomach acid getting out of the stomach and coming up into the esophagus? There's so many different factors that come into play there of why that symptom is there. It's the fire alarm going off. That reflux, that burning sensation, that's the body's sign signal telling you, like, hey, something is wrong. But what do we do in the sick care? The idea with medication, we want to take a cover and cover or mask the alarm that's going on. We're ultimately designed for health and well-being. Okay, we're designed to be healthy. Our body is constantly trying to keep us in a state of health as long as we have a healthy, functioning nervous system.
I think that's really great. And I think a lot of health issues probably end up being stress related and we don't even know it. So what is stress? Is it good? Is it bad?
And so this idea of stress, unfortunately, cancer, heart disease, all the major, killers, the large killers of early death or early decline in our society, 90% of them are related to lifestyle and what we do to ourselves, how we're eating, how we're sitting. But that's the good news because we have the ability to change that. So stress is merely the idea of you have to do that in order to grow, right? So if you don't have stress on a muscle, it never grows. If you don't stress your immune system out a little bit time and again, then your immune system doesn't get stronger. This idea that it's bad for you, not too much, if you put too much stress on a rubber band for too long, it's never going to go back to its original shape. But this idea of little guided areas of stress, on a daily basis is very important. If you don't stress your finances from a little bit, the idea of, okay, well, I'm not going to go out and buy that, extra cup of coffee, or I'm not going to, go out and take that, luxury vacation or I'm going to just be very, very conscious of how I'm spending my money. That can be a little bit of a stress, but it's a self-induced stress. And the reason you're doing that is because you're, putting money away so that it can hopefully invest and grow and save, so that you can get to a quality of life that you ultimately want to. So that, that little bit of, avoiding instant gratification, for long-term gain, that's the idea of, is it good or bad? This idea of stress is inevitable. We all experience it. So I think a matter of how are you implementing it day in and day out has a big factor on ultimately what your wealth and your health is going to look like.
So what can we do with all of this?
Ultimately, how do we achieve health and well-being? How do we optimize our body's ability to adapt to its environment? One of the first ways is assessment and advocacy. Really, I put it in my ABCs. Okay, so assessing your body regularly. When we're assessing your health and well-being, you have to look at different parameters. So I always use the example of people coming into my office. If they are only assessing the things that their insurance will reimburse for, okay, you are really missing the boat in terms of a holistic picture of your health and well-being. Build a team of healthcare providers, just like you hopefully have a team of financial professionals that you're working with to help grow your wealth. You have a team of healthcare professionals who are looking at your health from a number of different directions to help make the best decisions. And then ultimately, you have to communicate regularly. Right? And I know that you communicate with your clients on a regular basis. Maybe it's monthly, maybe it's quarterly. Same idea. A once a year check-in with a primary care provider, although good, again, I think you're vastly missing the mark in terms of how do you ultimately get healthy and stay healthy.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really looking forward to breaking down all of the factors of health with you and learning how they impact our financial well-being. Please join us next month for a video on the effects of physical and biochemical factors.